The latest emergency deviates from the show's oldest tradition in 911 Season 9 Episode 3, and I'm not sure how to react. Although this week's episode of 911 is better than last week's, the space emergency is regrettably extended into a fourth episode, bringing the show's Season 9 opening emergency to a close after 3 episodes. Just after the Inara, the spacecraft carrying Hen, Aisha Hines, and Athena, Angela Bassett, catches fire, Season 9, Episode 3, The Sky is Falling, resumes. By opening the emergency hatch, Athena extinguishes the fire, but as it escapes, the passengers are left stranded in space with little oxygen and no means of escape. Tripp Houser, Mark Consuelos, who is back on the ground, has given up on rescuing the Inara's occupants, including his fiancée Tricia, June Diane Raphael. Additionally, he doesn't appear to be really upset about it. But unwilling to give up, Karen, Tracy Toms, and Maddie, Jennifer Love Hewitt, try to get in touch with the Inara once more in an attempt to assist them in returning home. Although the episode moves quickly and has the appropriate emotional resonance, it seems a bit repetitive that the situation will be carried over into the following week's program. Karen and Maddie attempt to bring Hen and Athena's spacecraft home in 911 Season 9, Episode 3. Since there will be some time before the Inara passes directly over Los Angeles, Maddie, Karen, and Prashant, Rishi Arya, call 911, in an all-too-convenient crossover. Nashville's Cami, Kimberly Williams Paisley, is able to assist them in reaching the Inara. Karen comes up with the plan to send the Inara to the International Space Station after finding out that it has lost its emergency hatch and would not be able to return to Earth. In order to reach the International Space Station and then cross the 30 feet between the Inara and the ISS to actually embark, the passengers on board the Inara collaborate throughout the episode. Parker, Rio Mangini, appears to have passed away during a dramatic scene, but everyone survives. At first glance, it appears that Athena, Hen, and the other Inara passengers will be able to return home safely by the end of the episode after reaching the ISS. However, they are all put at considerably greater risk because the ISS is situated directly in the center of a field of space junk. After Hen rescues a seriously injured ISS employee, they are all left stranded on the ISS, and the longer they remain there, the greater the risk. As captain in 911 Season 9, Episode 3, Chimney must make tough choices. Back on Earth, a married couple on the verge of divorce finds themselves in the midst of interplanetary debris that is pouring down on the city of Los Angeles. Lori leaves the subway just before the entrance falls after Cal advises her to stop battling for their marriage. Lori is unconscious and has a leg trapped behind a slab of cement. The 118 attends to her. In order to help Harry and Cal deal. Episode 3 of 911 Season 9 looks like it's getting ready to add both grandchildren to the 118. Both of the grandchildren would become first responders when May, Corinne Messiah, returns to dispatch and Harry formally joins the 118 as a firefighter, as I have been forecasting. However, it now appears like May may choose to become a paramedic rather than go back to dispatch, and I'm quite interested to see how that plot develops. In this episode, May Grant finds herself in a predicament where she must attempt to save someone from bleeding out during a large-scale emergency, not for the first time in 9-1's history. When a wounded woman arrives at the firehouse to seek assistance, May, Denny, Declan Pratt, and Mara, a Skylar Bell, must make a quick decision. However, May saves a life this time and becomes the emergency clinic at the fire station. I became tearful as I watched May assume this role since I was so thrilled about it. Although I appreciated that she and Harry attributed their actions during this situation to Michael's, Rahman Donbar, Season 2 guidance, it was a lost chance for them to discuss Bobby's influence on them as well. Bringing the Inara home will undoubtedly be the primary emphasis of next week's program, but I also get the impression that May and Harry will be making some important life decisions. On Thursdays, new 911 episodes air. The enormous geostorm situation continues in 911 Season 9, Episode 3, The Sky is Falling, both on the ground in Los Angeles with the remaining 118 and in space with Athena and Hen. The Space Crisis. A fire breaks out on board the spacecraft carrying Athena and Hen, the Inara 2, at the beginning of the episode. Hen vents the craft to put out the fire using her fireman instincts, but she loses the emergency hatch in the process. On the ground, Maddie and Karen, Hen's wife, provide the astronauts with direction as their oxygen supply runs low and they have no means of getting back to Earth. A crossover event is created when Maddie arranges a satellite contact with a 911 operator in Nashville because the ship has drifted out of LA's communication range. The crew's suffering does not end when they safely dock with the International Space Station, ISS. The ISS is in the center of a space debris field and has already sustained damage, according to an injured astronaut. A fourth, potentially lethal wave of debris approaches as the event comes to a close. A subway collapse caused by falling debris from the geostorm has left Los Angeles in a state of Earthside emergency. Lori and Cal, a captive couple who were fighting prior to the catastrophe, are attended to by the 118 team. As water fills the subway tube and Lori is trapped beneath large rubble, Chimney is compelled to make a challenging choice. Despite his self-doubt, Chimney chooses to amputate Lori's leg in order to save her life. He debates the choice and contemplates how Bobby would have responded, but in the end, he follows his